Welcome to the mighty kingdom of Orokin, a land of warriors, wealth, and power. For centuries, the House of Alarogan, the ruling family, had stood unchallenged. Their blood was said to be blessed by the gods, their warriors feared by enemies, and their influence stretched across the realm. But power, no matter how strong, must always be secured. And so, when Alaafin Adewale ascended the throne at just 18, there was one matter that could not be ignored. He needed a queen. Adewale was young, fierce, and eager to rule. Trained in the art of war and statecraft, he had learned early that a king's strength was measured not only by the battles he won but by the alliances he forged. The kingdom of Orokin was unmatched, its warriors undefeated, its treasury overflowing. But without an heir, the House of Alarogan would one day crumble. His mother, Alaafin the Iron Mother, was the most powerful woman in court. She had guided the palace with an iron will, ensuring that her son remained unchallenged. She understood power, not just in the battlefield, but in the whispers of the palace halls. And she knew that a king's choice of queen was not simply about love, it was about power. The most beautiful maiden of noble blood must be found, she proclaimed. Messengers were sent across the realm, carrying the Queen Mother's decree. They rode for weeks, traveling across mountains and rivers, through forests and open plains, to summon princesses from distant lands, from Akambi Hills, Ijiri Waters, Ilaro Forest, Gabara Cliffs, and Okan Town. 5 princesses arrived at the Grand Palace of Orokin, each bringing her own beauty, her own strengths, and her own flaws. The first to arrive was Princess Adesua of Akambi Hills, a woman as gentle as the morning breeze. She was delicate and kind-hearted, her beauty soft and serene. The people adored her, for she spoke with humility and carried herself with grace. But she was timid, hesitant to raise her voice even in the smallest matters. Could such a quiet woman rule beside a warrior king? Would she stand strong when the kingdom faced trials? Or would her softness become her downfall? Then there was Princess Moronkeji of Ijiri Waters, a woman of sharp mind and sharper tongue. She was beautiful like a river goddess, her eyes deep and mysterious. She understood the delicate dance of politics, the way power moved from one hand to another. She knew how to speak with wisdom, how to weave words into weapons, how to influence men without them even realizing it. But her flaw was pride. She was a woman who refused to be wrong, who could bend men to her will but not herself. Could the king trust a queen with such ambition? Would she guide him, or would she try to rule through him? Next came Princess Omatok of Ilaro Forest, the daughter of a warrior king. She was not delicate, not soft. She could ride a horse faster than most men and fire an arrow with deadly precision. Her beauty was fierce, like a lioness in the wild. She carried the fire of war in her veins and made no secret of it. But she did not know restraint. She was bold to bold. She challenged traditions, questioned rules, and refused to bow. Could a queen who refused to submit truly sit beside a king? Then there was Princess Folashade of Gabara Cliffs, a woman of quiet power. Her beauty was like carved ivory, her voice as smooth as flowing silk. But behind that beauty was a mind sharper than a blade. She could persuade, manipulate, and shape destiny with a single whisper. Yet, her flaw was her secrecy. No one truly knew her heart. She was a woman of many faces, and she kept her true thoughts hidden. Could the king trust a queen whose loyalty was not given but bargained for? And finally, Princess Rank of Okan Town, the daughter of a king who ruled with laughter and joy. She was always smiling, always singing, always dancing through life as if it were a festival. Her beauty was warm, like the first light of dawn. People felt at ease in her presence, as if the burdens of life were lighter. But she was carefree, too light-hearted to carry the burden of a throne. Could a queen who danced through life stand firm when storms came? The king watched them all, studied them carefully. Beauty was not enough. A queen had to be strong. A queen had to rule, not just sit beside a ruler. After much thought, he chose Princess Moronkeji of Ijiri Waters. She was wise, ambitious, and powerful, a woman who could rule beside him, not beneath him. She understood the world in a way few did. She was not simply a pretty face. She was a strategist, a woman who could make allies out of enemies and turn whispers into weapons. But the Queen Mother was not satisfied. Alaafin the Iron Mother had seen what happens when a king marries a woman of another house. Power shifts, loyalties change, and if the bloodline is not secured, the throne itself can be threatened. She called a council of the elders, and there, in the heart of the palace, she spoke the words that would change the future of Orokin. The king must marry from within, she declared. The court fell silent. And so, a second wife was chosen, Princess Abeni of Orokin, his first cousin, the daughter of his late uncle. She had been raised within the palace walls, a girl who knew the ways of the court as well as she knew the lines on her own hand. The court was shocked. To marry a cousin was rare, but it was not forbidden. It had been done before, in distant generations. The bloodline of Orokin was strong, and it must remain pure. This was not a marriage for love. This was a marriage for power. And so, Alaafin Adewale took 2 wives, one for power, one for blood. This was the beginning of a tradition that would shape the destiny of Orokin for generations. From that day forward, no outsider would sit beside the king. The royal house became a fortress, its power locked within its own blood. At first, this decision made Orokin stronger. The kingdom flourished, its influence spreading further than ever before. The warriors remained feared, the gold continued to flow, and the house of Alaafin stood unchallenged. But when power stays in one place for too long, it turns to poison. If you loved this folktale, like, comment, and subscribe to see the next chapter in the House of Orokin. The episode is only beginning.